episode number 2 of 2019 of Unlock Your Life, our podcast where we will share with you how you can build your business without compromising your life, your family, your relationships, whatever it is for you that really, really, really matters to you. So, we are now in the topic of money and business, and this is episode 2 of that cycle. And in this episode, we're going to talk about how you can, about one of the biggest problems that is actually really tying into money and business. And that problem is how to create what you want. That was what I was going to say. What I meant was the biggest problem is that you don't really know what it is that you want. Now, what does it even look like? For most people, it's very simple. They say, oh, no, I know exactly what I want. And then there is a big number, I don't know, a couple of €100,000 or maybe even a few million or whatever, or big house or car, or I want this and that holiday. And they come up with a list and they say, I know exactly what it is that I want. Some other people don't really know what they want and they just want things for other people. Some other people are more like this. They say, no, I want my business and I want to help millions of people and I want to do this and do that. I want to have impact. And all of these thoughts are really valid and they make you think that you really, really, really do know what it is that you want. But do you? Because it's really, really simple to create what you want. If you want it, you can have it. I will talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So are these things that you really want? Or are these things that you should want? Or things that you believe you want? Or things that you think might look good if you want them for the world? And even though that might not be important to you looking good, I know it wasn't important to me to look good, but most of my goals, if I look at them honestly, I must say that these are goals that did make me feel a little bit more somebody who was going to be respected if I would achieve them, or more likable if I achieved them, or somebody that had a better contribution to the community if I achieved them. And they didn't really have to do with what it was that I wanted for me. So that's one part. The other part is that often we focus on a goal that has nothing to do with what we want, like money. And we focus on that money goal saying, well, if I just have this and that amount of money, then I will be able to get whatever it is I want. And then I don't have to know what it is I want because I will always have money for whatever it is. And that's also a problem. Because if you don't know what you want, the money is not going to follow because you're focusing on a lack. You're focusing on, I don't really know what it is I want. I don't know what I have. I don't know what I'm contributing to, but, just come up with a lot of money and I will solve all of these things. And that's a wishy-washy intention. And that gives you wishy-washy results, otherwise you probably wouldn't be listening to this podcast. So focusing on money as a goal, or focusing on lack of stuff or things or money that you don't currently have, will only create a downward spiral of you wanting. And the problem with that is that if you want something and you want it because you don't have it or because you don't have an idea how to get it, will lead to you always wanting it and never having it. And I just said something really profound. If you focus on something that you want and that you are in want of and that you think you need, then what happens is that you will always be thinking, I need that. And so I'm unhappy now. But if I would have that, then I would be happy. And you're making this a relationship that I say you believe it to be stuck together, where it is really has nothing to do with each other. It's unrelated. You can be happy without whatever it is that you want. And if you're happy and you don't care about the results, then you will probably do a lot more things easily, and the results of those things probably will have a lot more profound, these actions probably will have a lot more profound result, because if you are not attached to the outcome, then you'll just do whatever it is that you have to do. Now, let's dive into these things a little bit more in depth. So, first thing I said is you really don't know what it is you want. And how do I know that? Well, it might not be true for you in the same way as it is true for a lot of other people. But look at this example. A baby, 3-4 months old baby in an opera house, right? And the opera singers are singing and everybody's really quiet and you can hear a pin drop, right? And then at a certain point, the baby starts feeling a little bit restless because he's hungry, probably, or maybe he has a dirty diaper or there's something else. But there is something with the baby and he wants something. Now, does that baby start thinking, oh, I cannot cry here, or I cannot say anything because whatever bad will happen? Does he? No. What does the baby do? The baby starts crying his lungs out. He starts shouting so hard that the opera singers will have to stop because he wants something, because he needs something, whatever it is. It has to happen now, and he will get it. Now, what do we do as grown-ups? As grown-ups, we don't take a baby to the opera house. Why? Because his needs are so pregnant, so poignant, so something that nobody is able to ignore, that we think an opera house is not a good place for a baby. Well, maybe that's the first time we got this signal. You cannot want everything you want, and you cannot want it in every place you want it, and you will just have to suck it up, right? Suck it up, princess. I mean, in some occasions, that might be a good statement, but in some, it really isn't, right? Because sometimes you really, really, really want something. And what is really important is to understand that you can want it. Now, do we always need to get whatever it is we want? That's a whole different story. I don't believe you always should get everything you want, because that would lead to spoiled brats, right? But that's a whole different question. So not always being able to have everything that you desire, that's pretty healthy. But that should not mean that you should stop desiring things that you don't have. That's a whole different question. So for instance, my son really, really, really wants to play a new PlayStation. And he really wants a specific kind of toy gun. And he really wants a certain kind of computer, a game computer. And he just really wants it. Now, I'm not going to buy it for him because he wants it. I might buy one of these things for his birthday, but he's not going to get it from me because he wants it. But he must be allowed to want it, because that's the first step. If you want it and you really, really, really want it, and that's a really important desire for you, then your creativity will start to kick in and start to give you all these ideas of how to get it. That is not always your mommy giving it to you. That's a whole different thing. Well, if you're a 3-year-old baby who's hungry, then your mommy probably should give it to you. But if you're a 13-year-old boy wanting a PlayStation, then maybe there's other ways to get it. But what we mostly do is say, stop wanting it. Why? Well, in my case, I can tell you, if he asks me about this PlayStation every single day, that drives me crazy. Why does it drive me crazy? And I was thinking about this a few months ago, because he was actually doing this and nagging and saying, I want my PlayStation, I want my PlayStation. And at a certain point I snapped and I said, stop asking for it. And he started crying. And I snapped so hard. He was literally startled and he went to his bed crying. And I felt awful. And I realized, what just happened? And I took a few minutes to think about it. And then it struck me. And I went to his room and I said, I am so sorry. What happened here? I never intended for you to feel this way. But what happened? And he said, well, no would have been a sufficient answer. You didn't have to get that angry. And I said, you know what happens? I want you to have everything you desire. I want all your needs to be met. I want you to be able to create and to have everything that you want. And I am not able to give everything to you. So you asking me all the time for all these things makes me feel insufficient as a mom. And it makes me feel unworthy as a mom. And it makes me feel so sad and so miserable that I would rather have you stop wanting it so that I don't have to feel the pain of not being able to give it to you. And at that point, he said, I really understand that, Mommy. Please stop that. And I said, yes, I will try to stop that. I will really work on this pattern. But you also have to understand that I might get angry once or twice in your life again. And that is not because you cannot desire things. That is because this pattern probably won't change overnight. And he said, I understand that. Now, this is a really, really, really beautiful conversation to have with a 13-year-old because now he understands that grown-ups have these weird patterns too, just like you. On the other hand, it also taught me a great deal of how this cycle can change because it's not bad to want something. It's bad to stop wanting it. So your creativity won't kick in. So you will feel totally helpless and you think, well, you know, if I just had a lot of money, all my problems would be gone for good. Whereas money is probably not the only way to create a PlayStation or to create whatever it is that you want. Now, to dive deeper into this example, as soon as we figured this pattern out, what my son and I started doing is making a list of ways of how he could actually get a PlayStation without me paying for it and without him finding a job because he's not allowed to find a job, right? We came up with a really, really, really strong list of ideas. But the thing is, you can only come up with a list of creative ideas of how to find solutions if you are in touch with what it is that you really, really want. And you're not shy of saying it out loud to the world, telling the universe, but not just the universe, telling the people around you, this is what I want. Can you help me? This is what I want. Can you help me? Without being the 3-month-old baby shouting in the opera house and saying, hey, I don't care what you guys are doing on stage there. This is what I want until you have it. Now that sounds pretty selfish. I know. And one of the biggest problems we have with entrepreneurs at this point is that we're not selfish enough because we don't want our business to be around us. Well, you know, maybe it shouldn't be around you. It's not even a maybe. Your business isn't about you. Your business should be around your customers, right? But if you don't have the confidence and the certainty to get up on a stage and tell the world what it is that you have to offer, what it is that you want to see different in the world, what it is that you think is important, what you believe in, and say, I know the way, follow me, then why would I put my problems into your hands? Think about that. If you don't have the certainty to tell me that you can solve my problem, why would I even sign up and working with you? And I don't care if you polish shoes, sell vacuum cleaners, are an artist or a trainer or a coach. It doesn't really change this principle. If you want to solve other people's problems, if that really truly is what you want, if you came in this world to do certain things, you came into this world to create joy, to create happiness, to create beauty, to create, to spread love. If that is what you came in this world for, and you don't get up on that stage and shout through the entire opera house, this is what I know and I feel and I believe in and I want, and I have something, follow me. If that is not what you're doing currently, then I have some pretty bad news for you. You're not going to get it. So stop focusing on money and start focusing on what it really is in your heart, deep down. This is not something you can figure out with your mind. You need to let it out of your heart. Really tune in. Breathe deeply towards your heart and ask your heart and say, if I would ask you, my dearest heart, what would you say it is that I really want? And maybe you can do it right now and just close your eyes for a minute. And take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. And another deep breath in and a slow breath out. And one more deep breath in. Slow breath out. Just tune into your heart. Without asking anything of it, without trying to force or create any answers, just sit still and breathe to your heart until you feel that you have a kind of a connection with your heart. And just sit with it. Like you would sit with a friend. You wouldn't jump on your friend with all kinds of questions. Just sit there for a moment. And if you need longer, just pause this recording and just sit with it. Really take some time to breathe with your heart. And then if we would ask your heart what it is that you really want, what is it that your heart would say? And sometimes hearts have been ignored for such a long time that they won't immediately give you an answer. Sometimes they won't give you an answer in words, but just images. Doesn't really matter. This is something you should be doing every single day for the rest of your life. Just tune into your heart. Sit with it and listen to it. Or listen to what it shows you in signs. Now, if you need more time, just pause. And if this was a really nice exercise for you, then please share in the comment what it is that came up for you, because that's the first thing. Share with the world what comes up for you. Share what it is that you really want. And don't forget to join our Facebook community, Money Mindset Strategies for Heart-Centered Entrepreneurs. The link is right below the video. Join in there and join our Money Mindset Mastermind every Monday between 12 and 1 Central European Time, lunchtime, and be there. Ask your questions. Share what it is that you really want. And please share this podcast with as many people as you think should be listening to this. And I can't wait to speak with you next week on the second problem, and that is not knowing how to create whatever it is you want. So we will take this one step further. Bye for now.